I'm super excited. Mott's, have you seen anything of this or nar?
Nope. Except for the songs,
Perfect.
except for listening to it, except for every TikTok mess with this. Like, that's I've really not watched a lot. Just a little hair talk.
And just a little slight hair tuck. It's fine. No big deal.
Oh.
I love it. Uh, specifically with this song and the song afterwards, I'll do another reminder. Content warnings for this: violence and gore, child death, and Zeus. So as a heads up, we will not see the child like death, but it's heavily implied. So just as a heads up, I believe that happens in the next song, but just wanted to pop that in now so you have some time. But let's get started, and apologies, we'll probably mess with the volume as we go. But yeah, let's get her started.
All right, my brothers, listen closely. Tonight we make the Trojans pay. 10 years of war, they killed us slowly, but now we'll be the ones who slay. Think of your wives and your children. Your families wonder where you've been. They're growing old and yet you're still here. Do what I say and you'll see them again.
Yes, sir!
Diomedes will lead the charge. Agamemnon will flank the yards. Menelaus will let our mates through the gates to take the whole city at large. Teucer will shoot any ambush attacking. Little Ajax will stay back. Nestor, secure Helena, protect her. Leo, avenge your father, kill the brothers of Hector.
Yes, sir!
Find that inner strength now. Use that well of pride. Fight through every pain now. Ask yourself inside, what do you live for? What do you try for? What do you wish for? What do you fight for?
What do you live for? What do you try for? What do you wish for? What do you fight for?
Penelope, Penelope, and Telemachus. I fight for us. I fight for us.
What do you live for?
Penelope,
What do you try for?
Telemachus,
What do you wish for?
I'm on my way.
What do you fight for?
Attack! Who was that?
A vision of what is to come cannot be outrun, can only be dealt with right here and now.
Tell me how.
I don't think you're ready. A mission to kill someone's son, a foe who won't run, unlike anyone you have faced before.
Say no more. I know that I'm ready.
I don't think you're ready.
It's just an infant. It's just a boy. What sort of imminent threat does he pose that I cannot avoid?
This is the son of none other than Troy's very own Prince Hector. Know that he will grow from a boy to an avenger, one fumed with rage as you're consumed by age. If you don't end him now, you'll have no one left to save. You can say goodbye to. You can say goodbye to.
I could raise him as my own.
Your house and
far
throne.
away from
Find
home.
you wherever
Make sure his past is never
the gods will make him
known. I'd rather
known.
pray
We're
for ya.
bringing you down
I'm on my knees for ya. I'm
Oh,
begging
this is the
please.
will of the gods.
Please don't make me do this. Don't make me do this.
The blood on your hands is something you won't lose. All you can choose is whose.
All right. right. That was the very first song, The Horse and the Infant, done by the incredible Gigi. So please go drop a follow, check out their work. They did a lot of animatics. You
Yeah.
okay over there, Mods?
It was just so good. The animation just adds to the feeling of like what the lyrics were starting with the music and the drumming and then seeing Penelope. I'm a sucker for yearning and like those kind of stories. So seeing that is just like, oh, my heart.
I know, I love it. Like, what a way to start off a musical, like, in it, too. Like, we're already in the Trojan horse. Like, I love that it's not the journey to that point. We're starting here. This is where it starts, is the big fight. And then the rest of the time is just them trying to get home.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely kind of incredible. Like, everyone's acting and singing is incredible. Jorge, who sings for Odysseus, wrote this entire thing
Mhm.
for their thesis, I think, for college, and
Yeah.
did an incredible job. Uh, and then,
Yeah.
for those that don't know, put it out on TikTok and got all these incredible people to come on in. So yeah, I like that.
Inari
Because we
had
were
a point
talking.
where it's like he's just a boy and just that pain in that was like, oh, the singing like already you're setting the tone of people who want to go home to like after all the battle and everything. You're setting that tone so quickly of just like we I could take him back and I can do this and I'm going back to Penelope and Telemachus and like, oh, the underlying stuff that was so beautiful, so pleasant. I agree. Um, really, really amazing that they got that on TikTok, and it just I I went from this just needs to be like somewhere. It needs to be seen. It needs to be made because it was so beautiful.
Yeah, it's really good. I also think it's interesting because we were talking about it a little bit before we started stream of like how this kind of reads as like a TTRPG campaign too, where you have Zeus is that, disembodied and it kind of guidance. And I'm not
Hmm.
saying that Odysseus is a cleric in any way, shape, or form, but like that kind of relationship is very interesting. And I think it'll come into play a little bit later with some of the other relationships. Uh, but I love we're technically seeing one of the big bads of this entire show from the get-go.
Yep.
And we're not starting in a tavern. We're
Nope.
starting in a Trojan horse.
Yep. What a wild way to start your if you're starting your D&D game and if you are a cleric I rarely play clerics I play warlocks so I can see the patron side too in that where they're because Odysseus does have like multiple influences in that but with if a cleric you start with this and you just like oh actually here's the big bad already. Let's start right now. Let me put my cards on the table and tell you exactly how this what might happen in the future. I like that. Just right in the Trojan horse, no tavern, no easy here's your mission. No. We're
No,
getting
not
right
at
in
all.
the yep.
Well, and I love too, we have that this is the starting point that like he's already like, okay, fighting other men and stuff like that, no problem. But we're already getting a good starting point for morality, which I think is going to be one of the major themes for this entire musical is that kind of measure in the line that Odysseus is kind of bouncing in between when it comes to that. But going back to your warlock point real quick, it just gave me the idea of like, because I've never done this, but now I'm kind of tempted to throw this into a campaign of like having a warlock that has a patron that, sure, maybe a fae, but maybe the fae
Hmm.
works for another. Like, what if your patron is actually like major player, but works under another? So they have to do the stuff for both your patron, but also their boss. Like, is that a
Yeah.
thing that?
It that I will say this and I will play that again. Warlock is one of my favorites because of that relationship. I see that in Will and Mizora, because Mizora does seem to
Mm,
have other people, even if they're not working for them, they have other needs and other things. So they're kind of using you to get somewhere. And so that relationship between a warlock and patron doesn't necessarily have to be, I have all this power and I'm giving this to you. It's here's an opportunity. And that's how I
yeah.
see it as like, let's win, mutually benefiting, like, circumstances. I give you some power, maybe you'll get something that I'll need. You don't need to know all about that. That's in that's in my job description over here. That's why I love in playing them, because that dynamic is so fun to realize later on, like, oh, you might be good or bad, or like whatever you have your own stuff. That's wild.
Hmm. How many warlocks have you played up to this point, do you think? Or
I
warlock
play
adjacent if you've done other systems?
I played a lot. I played um Warlock is not my favorite, but it's my favorite dynamic to play, and I will try to play it in different systems. The last one I played in a witches game, which is coming out soon. I played
Ooh.
a witch who was like a deity witch who was given time powers. They were I based them off of Astarion. I based it off Astarion's urge for power and this power-hungry witch who made a deal with Morrigan, and Morrigan gave them time powers. But what the Morrigan didn't reveal is that Alcina only had a day to use them. So Alcina figured that out like at 11:59 p.m. and used the time magic to wind the day back one day, and for 80 years she's been running away from Morrigan, like pretty much to winding the time back over and over, like pissing her off even more and more. And whenever the time gets close to 12 p.m., Morrigan comes, like appears, pretty much saying, "Where have you been?" Just like, like creepily coming back into Alcina's life. But I've played a lot of warlocks. I think it's nearing the double digits at this point. My favorite character, their warlock, is based out of off of the outsider from Dishonored. They're
Mm,
not a evil character. They're just, I have power. I want to see what they would do with it, kind of
yeah.
patron. Like, so played a lot of warlocks. I enjoy that dynamic. So that's why I could see that with a couple of the relationships between gods and characters in Epic. Um,
Yeah.
Opportunistic is kind of how I see it. Just let me put my bet in on this person. That's where I see warlock patron.
I love that. No, that's really cool. I have not had as much experience with Warlock, to be honest. I have played it in total 2 times. So this is definitely getting me like some ideas and stuff. But chat, what are some of your initial thoughts too? Like, yes, this will be Mats and I chatting, but this is an open discussion with everyone. We're kind of vibing. Like I said, I got hot cocoa and Bailey's. I know Mats has hot cocoa over there as well. So, but this is just an opportunity for all of us to kind of vibe and stuff like that, and hang out. So,
Yeah.
um,
Warlock's based
yeah.
off of Greek myth. What do I roll? Nate. It's such a vibe. I imagine having a
Mm.
patron like Athena or Aphrodite, like showing up.
Ooh.
Um, or I could see the anger of Hera coming to your door saying, so, like, Zeus pissed me off. I need you, and just being like, giving you that power. If but for a moment. Which I think is, uh, I'm trying to think of the right act, but it
Well,
works.
and here to expand too, I could see since I know Matsu and I talk about Disney every now and then. I feel like Meg was a warlock for Hades without any actual like powers too.
Yeah. hmm
Like,
I do think it's a pact of the chain because Hades, like,
yes,
yep, yep.
yeah, 1,000% that.
Their
Um,
minions were like, we'll help, we'll follow you around, kind of thing.
yeah, pain and panic. Reporting for duty. Uh, but I could definitely see that coming to play. I could see Aries too if he's like thinking things are too peaceful. like wanting to start shit, just wanting that to explore that a bit. But then again, there's also just Zeus, because Zeus. So incredible. Oh, hang on
So
one
before
second.
we go for the second one, you're
Yeah.
thinking cleric and cleric of Zeus.
For Odysseus, no.
Okay.
No, I think I'm going more in the line with the warlock, but like Zeus, we know is like head of all the gods and stuff like that. So I'm thinking it's the situation that I mentioned earlier of like, oh, this is my boss's boss.
Yeah.
Like, yo, telling me, hey, you're gonna need to go ahead and take care of this other problem, or else this is going to be an issue later on, and everything you're working for is just going to turn to dust, because it's just, yeah, that's what I'm getting to, Azra. I'm just trying to be careful not to say stuff because I know Mott's hasn't seen everything. So I think we'll see that coming to play shortly.
I will say, growing up, just so epic related, I don't need spoilers.
Sure.
But when I was a kid, I was that nerd that rewrote the Iliad and the Odyssey as poems.
Same.
So I know like that story. Like,
okay, cool.
I'm good on
then
that.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm good on that.
To repeat what Azra was saying in my chat was, if Odysseus is a warlock, he'd be one for Athena for sure. And that's exactly what I think is kind of happening here, is like Zeus is fully aware that like this has been happening for a while. So, but also he's Zeus. He doesn't give a shit.
Yes.
So,
yes.
But yeah, incredible. Are y'all ready to move on to the next one? Okay. As a reminder for the next one, content warnings again, I'm going to reiterate them as well, which are violence, gore, child death, grooming, the ocean, and Zeus. So be on the lookout. And here we go.
I look into your eyes and I think back to the son of mine. You're as old as he was when I left for war. Will these actions haunt my days? Every man I've slain is the price I pay. Endless pain. Close your eyes and spare yourself the view. How could I hurt you? I'm just a man who's trying to go home, even after all the years away from what I've known. I'm just a man who's fighting for his life. Deep down I would trade the world to see my son and wife. I'm just a man. But when does a comet become a meteor? When does a candle become a blaze? When does a man become a monster? When does a ripple become a tidal wave? When does the reason become the blame? When does a man become a monster? I'm just a man.
And that's just a man.
That this is the one I have seen every bajillion version of TikTok on. Like all the Baldur's Gate characters, all the way down to an like Astarion screaming, no, even Karlach screaming, which was one of my
Yeah.
favorite scenes, to the line, to a monster, and I've seen it through multiple different ways, and I'm just still, it makes me just so hype. Yep. Ready, like my heart's pounding. I'm ready. Like, am I going to war? Like, I'm like, let's go.
What are some of your initial thoughts?
Um,
Now that you're seeing it in this medium, because I have also seen it from the Baldur's Gate, because it's just so good. But now seeing it with this imagery, that's again the animators, and this is another one made by Gigi. Did an incredible job, and we'll talk about. There's a couple that are coming up that I'm like, it's very interesting if you watch different animatics with their interpretation of what's going on, because some are way twisted than some of the other ones of like what's happening. But yeah, what are some initial thoughts for you?
Initial thoughts are one, the beginning, where it starts with them leaving their family to the child at the end, and it's like seeing the animation of like similar situations, but then him holding out that baby, just saying, "I'm just a man," and that my brain thinks, "Are you like? Are you really like? Has things have
Mm,
changed? Like, are you just like really?" So the animation is wonderful because it definitely evokes that feeling of uh similar situations, but you're having to make some evil decisions, and uh saying just a man, just having to do this is the lyrics kind of trying to like paint that picture of this character making those decisions, but I also think in the back of his head he's like knowing that somebody would do this if someone went to his home too. So
yeah,
yeah, I that's what I think. The animation does that really well to make you feel, oh, they are in a, oh, what point does weakness become an excuse? Oh,
yeah,
ooh, yep.
yeah.
That's the words.
Because I mean, with that argument, I mean, you can argue away and
Hmm.
justify anything with that kind of mindset. So, like, again, morality kind of coming into play. He really doesn't want to do this. But I like the imagery too of the child is the roots and the tree that's kind of growing out
Yep.
was such a visceral image of like all the different paths that could happen uh from just this one choice,
Yep.
which is so interesting, and you can see how conflicted he is now. Again, a great starting point in terms of morality, with how he's like even just taking this life, which has not done anything except exist,
Hmm. I
is
enjoy
rocking
that.
him.
Yeah, I enjoy the ripple effect, or the, hold on, let me close my door real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
The ripple effect of like choices. If we're going to talk about D&D, lots of games I like to run, I like to put that in there just to have that effect of making that world alive, because um talking to the person who runs the bar, they had a busy schedule. They've been working all day. They got family at home. If you're going to cause a ruckus at their bar, then you get like come back after a few months to the same like city or town. They're probably still building that like tavern up. They're going to see you and be like, "And you not allowed," And I like that kind of ripple effect of like in worlds. So seeing the tree was my favorite part as well in this, because it's years, right, that it takes. So
Yeah,
um, it's good to
yeah,
see
he's gone
that.
for a while.
He's went shopping for milk and didn't come back for a long time.
Yeah, went shopping for milk, fell asleep in the car.
Hmm.
Someone
Took the wrong
decided to take
turn.
the car. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Had
yeah.
to go get the car. Yep.
Yep. Got a parking ticket. Had to go deal with
Got to pay
that.
it off.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep.
Got it. Yep. Then it got impounded.
Then he
Uh,
was, stranded for a little bit, then had to figure another ride, you know,
Uber wasn't working.
had to download the Lyft app because, my
Yeah.
goodness, he deleted it months ago, never thought he would need it.
I love it. Incredible. Well, are we ready to move on to song number 3?
Yep.
Incredible. Let me snooze this ad real quick. And like I said, this is another one made by Gigi. Please go and subscribe to their channel. I am subscribed. I don't know why it says I'm not, but I am. So please go take a chance and take a second, rather, and go give them some love and support. All right. Oh God, I messed up. Don't listen to me. It's fine. I hate when the button moves. Content warning for this one is ocean. So we're out on the ocean. We have left the battle scene and are hopefully making our way home. So here we go.
600 men under my command, with only one goal in mind.
Make it back alive to our homeland.
600 men, 600 miles of open sea. But the problem's not the distance,
It's what lies in between.
and Ithaca's waiting. My kingdom is waiting. The enemy's waiting for me. So full speed ahead. Full speed ahead.
Captain,
You really crushed
600 men.
600 men.
600 men with big mouths to feed. And we've run out of supplies to eat.
First the war, our food stores depleted.
600 men.
600 men.
600 reasons to take what we can. So, Captain, what's the plan?
Captain, what's the plan?
Watch where the birds fly. They will lead us to land. There will hunt for food, my second in command. Now full speed
We're up,
ahead.
and away we go. We're up,
And away
Full
we
speed
go. We're off and away we go.
Captain,
Politics.
look! There in the distance, I see an island. I see a light that faintly glows. Maybe they're people lighting a fire. Maybe they'll share some food, who knows?
Something feels off here. I see fire, but there's no smoke.
I say we strike first. We don't have time to waste, so let's raid the place and...
No. Polities, gear up. You win, I'll go ahead.
You and I'll go ahead.
We should try to find a way no one ends up dead.
We don't know what's ahead.
Give me till sunrise, and if we don't return, then 600 men can make this whole place burn. Now full speed ahead. Full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead.
We're up, we're off, and away we go.
We're up, we're off and away
Full
we
speed
go.
ahead.
And the full speed ahead.
Okay. I'm going to exit real quick. That was done by Wolfie the Witch on YouTube. Did an incredible job with that. So make sure to drop a sub if you are not following them already. That is one of my favorite songs, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
I'm
that
trying
one
to get it.
is the first one that is new. I've heard little bits of it, but the least amount out of all the other songs. But that
Mm,
is really good. The voices, oh,
I know.
that was so good. And Ari said the quality of his voice. You ever felt mad because something was so good? And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I really like too the way that they like similar to, and you mentioned you've read the Odyssey and the Iliad. We have the chorus doing introductions and helping to set the scene. So we had that introduction of Eurylochus and Polites, who I would argue are kind of like the devil and angel on Odysseus's shoulder in terms of how to handle things real quick. But I would love to hear your thoughts and interpretations.
Yep, I think that was the exact thought I had when they were like, when Pilates was like, just giving information, and then you can see the animation where they're just covering their ears to when,
Yeah.
to when they're saying, "Let's raid the place," and they're just like, "No, no, no, I can't even hear this," and you can
Yeah.
see the angel like on the shoulder being like, don't even let him talk. No, that's not. I don't accept this." So I saw the same, and the excitement in his face that Odysseus was choosing him to go on shore with him. So I thought that same thoughts. He had to balance between just finding something very quick and everyone's anxiousness to get home, and also 600 men. You got to feed them somehow. So
Yep.
everyone's going to be itching to get off the boats, and also they would have to wait till sunrise for any kind of information, versus like Polides saying, let's not do that. Let's see what we could do and figure it out. Take some time, like wait just a couple more hours. So that was so cool. The animation was my favorite so far. The boats, uh the feeling of like being on the water for so long and then seeing the island. That was very cool. Really cool animation.
I think I agree. But I think it's also really interesting too, because we have such a different side of the coin with this song than we did in the last two. If you think of it, like we've had kind of bookends where the start of The Horse and the Infant, he was super confident and seeming very happy and comfortable in that. And the moment he started questioning, we started to kind of see a spiral starting to kind of happen with him. And now, okay, we're on the other side of it. What? I see I sparked a thought.
No, you sparked a thought for sure. I think I always thought Odysseus just felt comfortable with his men, but not
Mm,
in war. Like he was smart, he was intelligent, he was a strategist, yeah.
yep.
Um but he grew up around these men, and he like and he's always been Odysseus of Ithaca. So like seeing him going from that to this, and then on the ships he's like, I'm just getting these guys home, like I'm confident I can do this.
Yeah. And there's I don't know if I would be comfortable making a decision for 600 people.
Me neither. No.
But it's a familiarity that he has, and he's totally fine, cool as a cucumber,
Mm-hmm. I think
totally
for
fine.
a paladin, I can see someone very confident in this. Like I have an oath to these men, and I can see a cleric um
Hmm.
in this, especially with like a soldier background, or yeah,
Yeah.
just they're here, they have a mission, they have an oath. I can't think of what subclass, but they have an oath to their like fellow soldiers.
Well, and for cleric, I could see, since we know and we've talked about Athena, I could see the oh my god, what is it? The knowledge domain. I could see that for
Oh,
cleric.
yes.
For Odysseus.
Writing that down. That's cool.
Like I said, and maybe that's how we're going to approach things, which I think is interesting. Of like, what is Odysseus's starting class, subclass, and then does that change or anything? What would you say, I guess, then, based off of and I know it was very brief, but the short interaction we had with Eurylochus and Polites?
I feel like that's their like their class, or what I just think about them?
We'll start with just what you think of them because you just met them. They said 2 sentences, really. I think in the next couple songs
They
it'll become a little
feel
bit more clear.
Yeah, they feel like that trope of they're going to fight soon. Like this is going to be like this is 600 men. That's an even number. I feel like some people are going to go side with Polides and I can never say his name. Second in command,
Eurylochus.
Eurylochus. There's just going to be some divide or um something that Odysseus have to choose. Or if they continuously choose one or the other, there's just going to it's just setting up. Like there's some
Mm-hmm.
foreshadowing, like setting up of like, ooh, tensions. Um, that's what I think from the
Yeah.
first few moments, especially when he was like this. Um,
I
they
think
seem to like run everything by Odysseus. So
yeah, second and
yeah.
third command I'm getting. I think in just the brief interaction with how they were going to approach with like the island,
Mhm.
or even like the birds, following the birds to find food. I think Polites is a representation or a symbol for Odysseus's hope, and Eurylochus is his not necessarily wrath, but more of his kind of war kind of side, battle side, aggressiveness. I think is probably the best.
Oh yes, yeah.
That's what, at least the just brief interaction with this, with how they, because I mean, Eurylochus is like, we just raid the whole place, like not even like,
Yep. Let's just get
let's
out there. Let's just go.
just
Get those
go.
books. We're hungry. I was like, oh, that's such a jump that you made
Yeah,
there.
0 to 100, super quick. Whereas like Polites is like, maybe we can go talk to them, and then if it's a problem, like, it'll be fine. Then Odysseus is like, yeah, if it's a
Mhm.
problem, then we can raise it to the ground. Like,
Mhm.
then, yeah.
I think that's why
But like,
they made that scene where they open the barrel and it's all empty and uh uh you could second in command was like, look, what do you mean? There's nothing in here. I'm starving.
yeah,
I gotta go.
yeah, Lamia saying, damn murder hobos,
Damn it.
pretty much.
Yep,
Not wrong.
not wrong.
Not wrong at all. And I totally don't see that totally biting them in the ass later. Totally.
Yuri
100%.
is the definition of an old-time soldier in this song. Do what it takes to survive.
Yes.
Agreed.
That's 1000% agree with that.
I will
Where this,
say they've just came off of a 10-year war too.
mm-hmm.
So all they have been doing is camping and surviving. That's the only
Yeah.
mode they've known. So agreed. They're just
Yeah.
trying to get home at this point, do that final stretch.
Yeah. I agree with that. Dude, our work is done. Can we go home now?
This is like
Closing time.
he sees this as like a drive-through. He's like, just let's get like, when you're late and you're driving home and you could be like, I could cook food at home or I can take the detour, but you don't want to
Yeah.
actually go order food at the counter. So you're like, this is Yuri just wants to go. Thank you also for the nickname. This helps me so much. Yuri
Yeah.
just wants to go to the drive-through and just pick something up and go. Like, let's just raid and get this like stuff. Get in, get out. I gotta see my wife. Like, get home.
I feel like it's that, but it's also that parent that's like the kids are in the backseat, but they want things from 2 different like drive-throughs. Where like Odysseus is like, what do you want? And Eurylochus is like, I want
Wendy's.
Burger King. And then Polites is like, I want Olive
Wendy's.
Garden. Yeah, Wendy's, Olive Garden. I don't know.
Yep.
And this is like, okay, well. And Azure, yes, I actually did a whole book report on the new Argonauts by Sean K. Reynolds, because we actually incorporated that into I think it was grad school. But also, I remember distinctly we were doing in my 9th grade English class. We were reading the Iliad, and then we read the Odyssey, and then we had to. It was an IB class, International Baccalaureate. So we had to find ways to then kind of do some research and make it our own. And the partner I worked with, we ended up very easily comparing it to Jason and the Argonauts and going through that whole series of events that was happening as well. Yep, I did Ivy and it hurts. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's yeah. There's a lot of similarities. All right, Malt, are you ready to jump to the next song?
Yep.
Okay, let's do it. Oh, hang on. It skipped. So, yeah, one of the songs that I put on here is actually not on here. That makes no sense. Give me 2 seconds then. Well, it's made by the same creator, so I can just pull it up real quick, which is just great because it's right here.
You can relax, my friend.
Huh?
I can tell you're getting nervous, so do yourself a service and try to relax, my
And
friend.
fine, pull at ease.
Think of all that we have been through. We'll survive what we get into. I know that you're tired of the war and bloodshed. Tell me, is this how we're supposed to live? Look at how you grip your sword, enough said. Why should we take when we could give? You can show a person that you trust them when you stop and lower your guard. Here we have a chance for some adjustment. Give it a try, it's not that hard. I'm telling you, this life is amazing when you greet it with open arms. Whatever we face, we'll be fine if we're leading from the heart. No matter the place, we can light up the world. Here's how to start. Greet the world with open arms. Greet the world with open arms.
Stay back!
My friend, greet the world with open arms.
We're only here for food. 600 friends are waiting for us to show our faces. Stay back, I'm warning you. If we don't get back safely, my men will turn this place into blazes.
See? This life is amazing when you greet it with open arms. Whatever we face, we'll be fine if we're leading from the heart. No matter the place, we can light up the world. Here's how to start. Greet the world with open arms. Greet the world with open arms.
My friend, I wish that I could say that I agree, but look at the way this fruit is glowing and filled with glowing seeds. It took me a while to notice just what kind of fruit they eat. It's a lotus, it controls your mind and never lets you free. That's what we'd get with open arms.
Lotus eaters, I'd like to show my friend that kindness is brave. Could you tell me where there's other food to eat? A cave! You're saying there's a cave where we could feast. And where do we sail to find this food-filled cave?
East, that way.
Thank you. This life is amazing when you greet it with open arms. I see in your face there's so much guilt inside your heart. So why not replace it and light up the world? Here's how to start. Greet the world with open arms. Greet the world with open arms.
Greet the world with open arms.
You can relax, my friend.
Well, I wonder what was happening there.
Yeah.
Lots your face.
What was happening there?
You went from pure joy to oh fuck real quick.
It's like danger, Will Robinson kind of. Just,
We went from vibing to that happened. You're like,
wait, what? Oh, and then the quietness. Oh, yeah, that what was happening? That just the flash warning, and I was like, oh, cool, it's ending, and then just the imagery of Odysseus is like, oh, danger. Okay. Yeah, bam.
That is one of my favorite songs. I
That is
listen
a
to that on
very good
repeat.
song. It's a fun song.
And
Lotus Eaters
Jorge
and
did the voice for the Lotus Eaters.
they were so cute. Go east, a cave.
Food.
And then in parentheses, a scary cave. Just
Yeah. Well, because if I don't know if you heard it, there was always one, and I think I saw this on TikTok too, of like, there's that one Lotus Eater that just is a little too on the Lotus, and so it's just delayed. So every time they're like east, he's like that way, like it's slightly delayed. Because there's always the one that's just doing food. You hear like very, it's always one. So, but I love.
Inari said, "I'm convinced Pallades is a Disney princess, and is a real one." Yeah.
I remember when we were watching it on my channel a little bit ago, and there was the moment where Pallades kind of grabs Odie's sword and gets up close, like they're about to kiss, and I went, "Gay."
You went on an island with your friend. Yeah, when they were running to in the island, I was just like, they're having a simple bro hangout, and it's like, no, gay.
Gay.
They were so cute. I thought that was so much. It's so hope punk, like so good to the like. They're even asking the Lotus Eaters for advice. I thought that was so cute. Like, where could I find food? They're the ones giving you the trippy fruit. And oh, he's so sweet. I'm scared.
Yeah, I couldn't tell by the look on your face. Literally, I'm gonna have to like do a like. Jordan will edit this later. Just insert a photo right here of like Mott's face of just like. Like you would have thought that I said Mott's all of a sudden a beholder appears for Odysseus and they're level 3. Like they're so screwed.
This is the first, as a GM, this is the first little side quest that is a simple side quest. It's a beach episode kind of thing that like my on Catchy Cantrips in our campaign we say all the time, because it wasn't a safe beach episode. There was a whole mystery, and the like this is what I could see like throwing players into, just to like, we were starting here, and then like soft little vision to be like, oh no.
Oh no.
Danger.
Yeah, it's wild. I think from this very brief thing, obviously speak with animals is in play if we're going by D&D rules. I could see druid.
The Lotus Eaters being fae too, or like Sylvan.
Yeah.
They had fae chaos energy of like, hi, maybe we can help.
I did. I could see fae. I could see speak with animals. I could see Polities being druid or ranger, maybe.
Yep. They have ranger vibes.
Yeah, Mommy is saying ranger too.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm not biased that ranger is my favorite class at all. So
no, the way that they're ready to scour, like go through the area, find a place, talk, to figure out directions. That's ranger for sure. Ranger.
Oh, 1,000%. I'm just getting us off the
maybe low perception chat. Maybe like low, like, you know, just vibes ranger who's like, ooh, pretty sunset, and Odysseus is like, no, that's a hill. Walk away. Like you're.
Or if anything, a high perception, high insight, because he's at such ease that it's
He
fine.
feels so. Oh, I like that too.
See, that's what I kind of love with ability scores. You can either just like it could be low, but regardless, he's so confident. To
Yeah.
me, it's reading that he's got a very high score in that of just like he's got that passive person, like he's got alert. He can't be surprised.
Yes, I can see
Kinda
that.
thing.
I think it was when Odysseus was like, "Oh no, this fruit does this." That to me I was like, I rolled for perception coming in, like in Baldur's Gate where everybody fails perception, and Odysseus is like, "Wait, no, drop the fruit," and put Polides. Oh my god, the names are gonna mess me up. He is
You can say
just like
Polly or P.
Polly or P. He's just like, "What do you mean? It's so beautiful. Are you okay? You good? What happened there? What do you like?" And then just does a spin because he's so excited to be on land.
It's giving to, I don't know if you've seen the short a couple years ago with Catbug, when Catbug is kind of bamfing. Oh my gosh. Okay, you need to YouTube Catbug. It was on this cartoon short series. But there's a whole clip of like he keeps bamfing in and out, and Catbug is literally a cat ladybug. Adorable.
I've seen enough of Catbug, but like, yeah, please tell me the one that you're talking about.
The moment that I'm thinking of is when he's bamfing in and out and he keeps bringing things out of the nothing zone, and he goes back and goes, "Sugar peas!" And someone's like, "Drop him!" And he's like, "Okay."
Yes.
It's very, which is
that's exactly it. Yep. I added that to my story the other day of like, this is how it's like being a femme with ADHD, and I was just like, yeah.
Yes.
A lot of
and
Catbug.
Lamia says that'd be more a ranger nature check than perception, which yes. for the inability to pick up about the lotus seeds for sure.
Agreed. Nature check.
Which is why, again, I think Odie with that either cleric of knowledge, warlock. I mean, who's to say he's multi-classing already or has been as we're coming in. But yeah, it's interesting. And then we got the little creepiness at the end of that video. So, are you ready?
Yeah, they're just on a trip. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, it's fine. And this is actually the last song in the Troy Saga. So, yeah. And this is also made by the same person that made the last one, Mercy. So, all right, we will dive right into it then, if you are ready to go.
Have you forgotten the lessons I taught you?
Athena!
Have you forgotten to turn off your heart? This is not you. I see you changing from how I've designed you. Have you forgotten your purpose? Let me remind you. Goddess of wisdom, master of war. My life has one mission: create the greatest warrior. I had a challenge, a test of skill, a magic bar only the best could kill. One day a boy came for the thrill, a boy whose mind rivaled the bar's own will.
Let's go!
Maybe one day he'll follow me and we'll make a greater tomorrow. Then they'll see I know he'll change the world, 'cause he is a warrior of the night. Maybe one day I'll reach him and we can build his skills as I teach him. If there's a problem, he'll have the answer. He is a warrior of the night.
Show yourself, I know you're watching me. Show yourself. I can see you.
How can you see through my spell?
I was lying, and you fell for my bluff. Ha
Well done, enlighten me, what's your name?
You first, and maybe I'll do the same.
Nice try, but two can play this game.
Nah, don't be modest. I know you're a goddess, so let's be honest. You are Athena. Badass in the arena, unmatched, witty, and queen of the best strategies we've seen.
If you're looking for a mentor, I'll make sure your time's well spent.
Sounds like a plan, goddess and man, best is the friends.
You'll see where it ends.
Okay.
Maybe one day they'll follow me and we'll make a greater tomorrow. Then they'll see I know we'll change the world, 'cause we are the warriors of the mind. Maybe one day we'll reach them and we can build their skills as we teach them. If there's a problem, we'll have the answer. We are the warriors of the mind. I still intend to make sure you don't fall behind. Don't forget that you're a warrior of a very special kind. You are a warrior of the mind. Don't disappoint me.
And there we are. That piano is its own character. It's so good.
I want to fight Athena.
Lamia said this in my chat, and I was like, yeah. Lamia said, I need a whole reel of Moss's reactions.
I don't really hide. I rarely hide much with my facial reactions. It's just on my face. But immediately as this song started, that was my first thought of how I designed you, and then the slam down and just being like, "What are you doing?" I don't like the energy, like the Athena. Athena is like seen in many different ways, and there's a lot of people who see the warrior, the spirit, the knowledge, the owl representation, the cool animation of them fighting and the transformation. Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah.
But the lyrics starting with like, that's not how I designed you, and then going into, he was already brilliant. He did that as a kid. You noticed, and then worked together with him, and you're surprised. You're surprised, really, that he would have thoughts of his own. So I was ready to fight a little bit just when they were they were like, this is not how I planned it to be. Yeah, that makes sense. You picked it.
I love the imagery too of like we were seeing when, and I'll take it back a little bit. When she had him in the beginning, and that kind of, God, the imagery is so good, and you can see these other scenes kind of popping up of like having this moment. This is such, by this stance alone, you can tell the power dynamic immediately. Completely. And then the fact that she just casts him aside the moment he like starts to step out of line.
Yep.
A little bit.
That's where I want to fight. That's where I want to be like, okay.
We're
gonna fight for hurting Odysseus now.
It was that, and then when they zoomed in on the bracer, which is a pact weapon, warlock. Or pact, maybe not weapon, pact item. Yeah. Easily. And
this would be so much fun to play as you are a paladin of Athena, but then you reveal like later, you are a warlock and the patron is Athena. Because it's it feels so like they're working together, the bestest of friends, and we'll see, and we're
Hmm.
fighting, and then just no, I designed you. You are not doing what I need, like, and that cast aside kind of that was so crazy. It was
Visceral.
so good. This is, I think,
Yeah.
one of my favorite songs now. Um, just for that, it was so their voice. My goodness.
So good.
Oh, good. I could, and the animation for when they said "You are Athena" and then the like reveal
Yeah, the
happened.
mask going.
Yeah,
Love
yeah, that was
that.
beautiful. Very, very, very good animation. And you can feel it. The next frame from here.
Yes. Uh, are you talking about this one or when it zoomed in on the bracer? Which
Yeah,
one?
I went from the bracer, um, to the that power dynamic is like evident. Like we were never
Yeah.
bestest of friends.
No, and he's like, we could be best friends. She's like, we'll see.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, heartbreaking.
I think it's good too because again, we also see a starting point for Athena. Whether that
Hmm.
changes or not remains to be seen with
Yeah.
how this musical is going to go. But we have a really good and strong dynamic. She's looking for a warrior of the mind. What that means exactly, we kind of have an idea, but what is there another purpose for it besides just having someone that's very intuitive and is going to essentially follow orders of Athena?
Hmm.
Or is there another purpose? Like, are they, and I know we brought up BG3, are they a chosen of Athena with like some kind of greater purpose? Like, I don't know, is this going to be some kind of Olympics where all of a sudden Ares chosen goes up against Athena's chosen or something?
Hmm.
Like, questions,
Hmm.
things
It's
that I think
also,
about.
oh yeah, I think about this because they're not telling Odysseus that either if it was chosen, and they're like, I know what the competition was in the Iliad that started, like the Trojan War kind of thing with amongst the gods, but Odysseus doesn't know people, like, so they are saying like,
No.
I've chosen you as a warrior of the mind, but the intention, like what the use is for, is not clear. We're not using that. Um, how do we get Astarian vibes in my epic the music?
Listen,
You know,
hey,
hey,
hey, it's my birthday week. It's fine.
yeah,
Lami's like, no, it's not. I
yeah.
can
There's
tell from
something
here.
about Greek gods where they bounce between extremes of affection and possession. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's I think why it's fascinated a lot of people, because they're very human.
Well, and we see that with that seems consistent across the board, right? Because we see it too if you play the game. I have alerts turned off for that reason, Lamia, but Lamia just played a white man. No. But we see that in the video game Hades too. If you choose another god, with when you go into the room where there's two boons, and God forbid you choose a different one,
Hmm.
because the other one will get really pissed off. And then as soon as that resolved, they're fine.
Yeah, there is a fan fiction, because again, I was bisexual growing up, loving like uh all Greek mythology. That was like, I think that is a common thing we
Yeah.
all go through, of
Yes.
just like, this is what my hyperfixation is. And my fan fiction was filled with a lot of like Greek mythology and lore, and someone rewrote the pantheon as vampire lore, like vampires who've like lived a long time, and it
Okay, I
makes
need this.
sense. Yeah, I need to find it because this was when I was like 20, but it makes sense so much when you see them less as like these powerful gods, but and more as these beings who have been here for a long time and has power, and they're just as jealous as the day they started.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess Athena being like, I need the warrior of a mind, the mind, but I'm the only one who's able to have like introspective, like really cool strategies. You follow my orders still. Like it's
Mhm.
wild. Um,
That's so wild.
I'm in my Percy Jackson shirt. Yeah.
Listen, I'm here for it. Another question I want to ask, because like I said, this is the bookend for the saga. There are 9 sagas total for that make up this musical. So, what are your first impressions of the saga that we've just seen so far? Where we're at story wise, because this will also give me some time because it's bothering me. I can see on my showing, it's showing the tab with YouTube at the top. So I'm going to fix that while you were chatting.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Okay. So first saga. I'm getting a read. Oh, hello. Or a follow.
Readers.
No, sorry, follow. I thought
Oh,
my
yeah, that's
alerts are messed up.
Ivy.
Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Let's see. First saga, there is like that. I think the best way to describe it is the end of the last song where there is hope and there's we just gotta go east. That's it. That's all we gotta do. And then Flash Athena like making that break and like that's perfect. It's just setting up this beginning of like there's trouble in the water, there's something happening, foreshadowing. Too peaceful. So far really good songs. Just a Man was one of my favorites. And Warrior of the Mind is now getting up there as well. I love the animation the most in this one. Um, let's see. Out of the 5 of them, I like I think I like Just a Man the most because I like the ending where he's grappling with something and then it just cuts
Mm-hmm.
to them on the boat um just trying to get home like as if,
Yeah,
10 years of like that didn't just happen. Um yeah, the really good first way to just set up the story and be like,
agreed.
yeah, it's totally going to be just a boat trip with bros. We're just getting home.
No big deal. It's the real
Yeah.
world Odyssey.